All right, man, peace. So, current NBA great and future Hall of Famer LeBron James recently found himself embroiled in a back and forth with Miss Laura Ingraham, a political pundit who works for Fox News. It started when LeBron, while staging an interview with the ESPN analyst Kerry Champion, and also in concert with Mr. Kevin Durant, stated that he believes that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is a bum and that he, quote unquote, doesn't give a fuck about the people. This inspired Miss Laura Ingraham to fire back at LeBron James by stating that he should just be quiet and dribble, which was an attempt, in the view of many, to marginalize LeBron James and to some had implications of quote unquote racism. Well, LeBron decided to respond to Miss Laura Ingraham, and he's going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
All right, while this is happening out here, the Team LeBron Media Day is underway elsewhere here in the LA Convention Center. LeBron James is at the podium right now addressing the media.
Let's just go. Let's fire off. I actually laughed first when I first.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was a nervous and a very uncomfortable laugh. Because no disrespect to LeBron, he does great things for his community, but he's trying to overstep his bounds. And as I've told you guys over the last year or so, LeBron has made a concerted attempt with the assistance of his backers to try to create this niche for himself as the leader of the quote-unquote woke movement. It's a very sensitive topic because it requires him to nudge Mr. Colin Kaepernick out the way. But it is a very important part of his brand building that he is supposed to be the resident Negro sports leader of the liberal movement in America. Please understand, and I say this all the time, if liberalism was a tree or the liberal blacks was a tree, you have different branches. You have the pro-black, you have the boule black, you have the woke movement. LeBron James is trying to take over that entire tree, and he has Nike backing him. And he does not really know what he's doing. He doesn't particularly know what he's talking about. And he's trying to enter into a field that he's not equipped for. It's nothing against the brother. He's not stupid per se. He's just not informed. He's not informed at all. And he believes that emotion is going to get him by because he knows that the liberal media is going to have his back and that his sponsors, his corporate sponsors, are going to have his back. And that's not going to be enough. You're not going to be able to bluff people but for so long. Now, Miss Laura Ingraham has invited him onto her show, and I'm pretty sure that he's not going to accept. If he does, good for him, but I doubt it, because it would entail that he actually has some understanding and some depth behind his comments, and he has none. Many people are upset with the way that Laura Ingraham responded. You have to understand that's how they speak to each other in the political field. They take the kid gloves off. They don't have time to worry about your feelings. And yes, they will say things like that, and they don't care who doesn't like it.
When I first saw the reports, and then I watched the video and I saw exactly how it was put off. But first of all, I had no idea who she is or what she do.
No disrespect, brother, but responding to someone who retorted your statement by saying, I have no idea who she is or what she do, it doesn't make you come off as above her. It just makes you sound even more ignorant. Nothing against you, and I'm sure that many of LeBron James's fans were roused up by his sentiment. It's the new in thing to get on TV and bash Trump, particularly if you're a celebrity, especially a so-called black celebrity. Because once again, LeBron sees himself as a quote-unquote Muhammad Ali. But he sees himself as Muhammad Ali via the Ali who is promoted by the liberal media. He doesn't understand that Ali actually had a foundation to his statements. He was an adherent to the belief system of the Nation of Islam, at least at the time. And many of these quote-unquote woke athletes don't understand that. They think that they can get themselves and their quote-unquote followers hyped up by little 15-minute snippets on Twitter or Facebook of some black man getting shot by the cops and say, see, this is why we're doing what we're doing. Well, what are you really doing? You're not doing anything. Well, we're bringing attention to this. Children look for attention. Adults look for solutions. And what LeBron does as a philanthropist is far more solution-oriented than any of his nonsensical, uninformed rants. No disrespect to the brother, but I agree with Laura Ingraham. He needs to stay in his place in regards to knowing what his focus should be. As a U.S. citizen, he absolutely has the right to state his opinions. Absolutely. He has the right to state his opinions. But when he decides to overstep his bounds, he better be prepared to be fired back on. And he better have an answer. Because when you try to be a leader and you're not, that's even worse than somebody who's not a leader. People think that it's a bad thing to not be a leader. It's not a bad thing to not be a leader. It's a good thing to know who you are and stick to that. LeBron is a great athlete. He seems to be a brother with a giving heart. Stick to that. And when I say that I agree with Miss Laura Ingraham when she states that he should just shut up and dribble, what I really mean by that is that he should learn what his strengths are as a person. He's not a good orator. He's not someone who's interested in the minutia of certain logistical aspects of the government, of how things are ran. And the true reason why many so-called black people have a problem with Donald Trump is because he's not an actor in regards to wanting to put on and air on television like he's concerned about things that he's not really concerned about. And from that perspective, I like that. Because with a person like Trump, I know where I stand. You have people like Max Kellerman and other super liberal sports analysts who get on television and want to rant and rave about Donald Trump and act as if he's so disparate from other politicians when he's not. If you truly understand what the previous presidencies were about, you know that he's no different from any of those other men. And once again, just getting back to LeBron James, he needs to stick to his strengths. His strengths are philanthropy and dominating on the basketball court. Not trying to get into a back and forth with political pundits. He's going to lose, and he's going to look real bad doing it.
Until so she won in that case because now I know who she is.
Well, no, she won because she's just more informed than you, bro. And trying to take that stance that you're so much bigger than her. That's that social media mentality. I have more Twitter followers than you. In their world, they're not concerned about that, bro. But that's that woke mentality. The woke mentality is all about how many Twitter followers you have and how many people are following you on, how many Facebook friends you have and all that other silly dumb shit. LeBron is caught up in that woke rabbit hole, man. Big time.
It's for her to go up there and say what she said. First of all, I mean, I would have had a little bit more respect for her if she would have actually wrote those words. She probably said it right off the teleprompter.
Well, I'm pretty sure that she wrote those words, dude. Okay, I think that you may have had more respect if she spoke straight off the cuff. But I'm pretty sure that she wrote what she read off of the teleprompter. She has a history as a columnist. Actually, she got caught up in a semi-scandal back in the late 80s with, I believe, a man named Bill Cole. I know his last name was Cole. I believe his first name is Bill Cole, a music teacher at her university, where she alleged that he was unprofessional. He was a so-called black man. She alleged that he was unprofessional in how he was teaching the students. Of course, he was teaching at a majority Caucasian institution. And her and some of her fellow classmates who were writing for the school newspaper felt that he was being unprofessional. So she has a history as a writer, quote unquote, scribe. So really, LeBron is just picking at straws. Look, it's nothing personal against LeBron. I think that, once again, what he does for his community, at least on the surface, is great. But he's trying to, he's kind of trying to overstep his bounds a little bit. And he's not really built for what he's trying to do. But once again, he has the right to say whatever he wants to say. But depending on what you say and how you say it, it's going to precipitate how somebody responds. So I think that if he were to have been interviewed by Kerry Champion and stated, I don't like Donald Trump because of what he's done to America fiscally. Jobs have went down such and such. The stock market has dropped such and such. The housing market has diminished such and such. If he would have made actual points, as opposed to him saying he's a bum and he doesn't give a shit about the people, like, that's just emotional bullshit. So when you spew emotional bullshit, you cannot get upset when someone retorts your emotional bullshit by saying, just stick to sports and dribble. right? Or something along those lines. She responded back with the same patronizing jargon that you emitted towards Trump. Very, very uninformed.
But that's okay. We live in we're back to everything I've been talking about over the last few years. So it lets me know that, everything I've been saying is correct.
Once again, it's all about LeBron. Everything he's been saying has been correct. Well, what have you really been saying, dude? You haven't been saying anything. You jumped on the Colin Kaepernick bandwagon, particularly after Muhammad Ali died. All right? You want to jump onto the Colin Kaepernick bandwagon. When Ali first passed, LeBron James and his cohorts in the NBA, they decided they were going to stage a little show within the show at the ESPYs. And then later on that year, during the summertime, Colin Kaepernick decided that he was going to start his Discordian movement to try to fracture and break down the NFL. And LeBron looked from afar, watched how it was going, and worked in concert with Nike to try to take some of that energy and siphon it his way. Because he said to himself, okay, well, Colin's movement is starting to lose a little steam. So maybe I can jump on what he started. I have more fame than him, and I can use that to my advantage for my brand. And look, I'm not saying that he's totally insincere in many of his sentiments, but when people keep talking and they don't know what they're talking about, I have to look at them with a very wary eye. LeBron is someone who is very cognizant of his image and where he wants to go. Believe me, if speaking out was going to cost him his money or his businesses, he would not speak out. I promise you that. So when he compares himself to Muhammad Ali, that's just another case in which they don't have that in common. Ali lost the ability to box because of what he stated and what his stances were. LeBron James is speaking because he knows that the corporate sponsors who back him will have his back.
It's correct for her to have that type of reaction. But we will definitely not shut up and dribble.
You don't have to shut up and dribble as long as you actually have a point to make, bro. If you don't have informed points to make, then you should just shut up and dribble. Because you're only going to set who you feel like are your constituency. You're only going to set them back. Because you're going to put a battery in their back that they're not going to be able to do anything with.
I would definitely not do that. I mean too much to society. I mean too much to the youth. I mean too much to the to so many kids that feel like they don't have a way out, and they need someone to help lead them out of the situation they're in.
Let me say this. LeBron is an inspiration to many of his fans, but I've stated in the past, athletes should not be considered leaders. They just shouldn't. And the fact that they are in this society is really more symptomatic of how the family structure has been broken down. People venerate these athletes. Like, I get these silly dudes on my channel all the time. They get all that all their bitch energy starts coming out because they think that you quote unquote hate their favorite athlete, their man crush. Some of these dudes, I have to wonder, it's like, dude, it seems like you fighting with Savannah over who gonna get LeBron's rod. Or you fighting with Kobe's wife over who's gonna get Kobe's rod. It's like, damn, dude, calm the fuck down. I make assessments. I don't have time to hate any of these dudes. All right? They're just doing their best in life. At least I would hope so, that the image that they portray is actually them. But as we all know, on that level, they're dealing with a certain aspect of Luciferianism. They have to. Or they're not going to be given the shine that they need to get the glory that they want. It just is what it is.
Also, wish you would have did a little bit more fact checking, because I actually did finish high school and didn't leave early. I graduated high school. To be an African American kid and grow up in the inner city with a single parent mother and not being financially stable.
Yeah, well, you got to blame your mom for that. She's the one who decided to spread her legs for Tom, Dick, and Harry, bro. It's no disrespect. A lot of people not going to like that. But at the end of the day, if you're living in a certain condition, I don't understand how you could feel like the solution would be to get impregnated by a strange man. Sorry.
And to make it where I've made it today, I think I've defeated the odds.
I agree with that. I've stated numerous times the LeBron James story is one of, if not the greatest story in sports history. To get to where he's at, the pinnacle that he's at, and come from where he came from. When you look at most of the top level all-time great sports stars, most of them came from two-parent homes that were relatively stable. Whether it's Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Barry Bonds, whoever you want to name, Ken Griffey Jr., most of them had strong fathers in their life. For him to come from the environment that he came from, it's arguably the greatest story in sports history.
And what's going on, my brother? I love you, my brother. I think I've defeated the odds, and I want every kid to know that, and I want everybody to know that the youth, that they can do it as well, and that's why I would not just shut up and dribble, because I mean too much to my two boys here, their best friend right here, my daughter that's at home, my wife, my family, and all these other kids that look up to me for inspiration and trying to find a way out, and find some leeway on how they can become as great as they can be and how those dreams can become reality. So
that's a great message, bro, but that really has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. You attempted to make political statements. You don't seem to know the difference between societal issues and political statements. That's why I stated that if you're going to speak about any politician and you're a regular citizen, then you should assess him, not go on an emotional diatribe. And that's why I stated I know that a lot of people might not like what I'm saying. I really don't give a shit. When you attack something, you have to attack it at its weakness. If you attack something at its strength, you're going to lose. And LeBron James seems obsessed with getting attention from Donald Trump. This is the first time that he's really gotten attention for a lot of his statements by, even the network that aligns itself or acts like it aligns itself with Trump. He's been trying to get attention from Trump for a very long time, as I've been telling you guys. He's tried to siphon the energy of the Colin Kaepernick movement. You'll notice that when Donald Trump decided to address Steph Curry, LeBron got very upset by that. I told you he was not upset by what Donald Trump said to or about Curry or the Golden State Warriors. He was upset that Donald Trump responded to Steph and not to him, because that's part of the feminine energy that LeBron battles with every day. All right? He battles with it every day. And a lot of these cats battle with their feminine energy. Why is that? Because they didn't have a strong man in the home to teach them that balance. And that's why I give LeBron even more credit, because he was able to ascend to the heights that he has and not have that strong male figure in the house to establish to him how to limit, how to curtail that bitch energy. Because all this is about is, why is he not giving me attention? I am LeBron James. That is his attitude. LeBron thinks he's the biggest celebrity on the planet. Like he really believes that. And he has a hard time separating the sports world from the real world. And not just him, many athletes think that they're huge. Like if you hear Isaiah Thomas, the old Isaiah Thomas from Detroit, he speaks about basketball like it's a religion. These guys think that they're gods. Okay? So when we address this issue between LeBron James and Laura Ingraham, there are a lot of different dynamics that are involved in this. It's not just about quote unquote racism. And a lot of these people are trying to pull the racism card, because LeBron knows that he really cannot address any real issues in regards to Trump. He's mad that Trump is not pushing the globalist agenda in America of everybody coming together. LeBron doesn't understand the economic aspect of what's going on here in America. And as I've already stated, he is an asset of Nike. Nike does not like Trump. That's why they had LeBron promote Hillary. LeBron does not know what the hell's going on in the political world.
So, the best thing she did is going to help me is create more awareness. So,
no, there's nobody that's going to be converted to your side that wasn't there already, brother. You know that already. The people who follow you and actually take what you say seriously are firmly entrenched. They will have been with you regardless. Those are all the people who despise Trump just because of what he represents, which is an archaic form of male hegemony that they want to have totally decimated.
I appreciate her for even giving me even more awareness for me to sit up here in the greatest weekend of the NBA All-Star Weekend. This is the best weekend of the NBA, where all the countries in the whole entire world come watch the greatest players in the world, no matter if they're part of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And I get to sit up here and talk about social injustice, equality, and why a woman on a certain network decided to tell me to shut up and dribble. So, thank you. Whatever her name is, I don't even know her name.
Once again, bro, you trying to marginalize her while asserting that she was marginalizing you. It's not helping your point. Whatever your point may be, quote unquote equality, that's never going to happen. How could you be an advocate for equality when all you're talking about is how you never knew her name? You certainly don't think that she's equal to you. Do you think that she's equal to you? If you did, you would not be trying to accentuate how you don't even know her name. You clearly believe that you're above her. Equality is a platform for the liberal. It's not a reality. It's just a platform. It's a concept for them to use to garner fame and attention. That's why he's thanking her, so that he can talk about quote unquote social justice. Look, people don't have to be adroit on political matters. But if they're going to speak about political matters, yes, they should be adroit. They should be informed. I don't want to hear anybody who's not informed. Like some of these guys who come in the comments and try to go back and forth on that emotional shit, I tell them straight up, please, you got to save that. It's not about disagreement. You could disagree all day. As long as you have facts, I respect it. When you have no facts, I don't respect what you have to say. Nothing against LeBron, but he got in the back seat of that car with his other friend, Kevin Durant, who also has a lot of bitch energy issues. And all they did was sit around talking about how Donald Trump is a bum and he doesn't care about the people. Bro, no president cares about the people. None. There's not ever been a president who cared about the people. Not Kennedy, not any of them that people try to romanticize. None of them did. Okay? So some of them got in the White House in that position and did not understand. They didn't quite understand what they were getting themselves into. That's who Lincoln and Kennedy and McKinley, the guys who got their brains blown out. That was the situation that they were in. But that's why, once again, no disrespect. If you don't know what you're talking about, then yes, you should shut up and dribble. As a U.S. citizen, you have the right to make your statements, make your assertions. But if you don't have any facts to back up your statements and your assertions, you will be eaten alive, and political pundits like her will demean you. So you have to be strong enough to take it.
But I appreciate, what is it? Nobody knows. Oh, Tiago says no one knows, and that's perfect, because I get to sit up here and talk about what's really important and how I can help change kids. Not only,
well, you could have did that without the idiotic remarks, bro.
Not only in America, but in Brazil and England and Mexico and all over. So
in other words, you have a Messiah complex.
So thank you.
Why do you think that people always target athletes for speaking out on social issues?
Because there was a time where athletes either felt they shouldn't speak up upon things, or they didn't feel the courage to speak about things that were going on.
Now, did you see how long LeBron paused? The reason why he paused so long was because he did not want to incriminate himself. That was another shot at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the guy that all these quote-unquote woke athletes like to allude to. When they're asked these questions by the liberal media in regards to why athletes did not speak out back in the day and why they're so bold and courageous today. Well, athletes back then didn't have the courage. No, that just wasn't the culture back then. Back then, the attitude was the arena, the field was for play, was for competition. If you had things that you wanted to contribute, then you started a foundation and you assisted that way. You didn't get involved with politics because the sentiment back then was that politics was all bullshit, which is what it is. Athletes today, due to social media, can garner more attention than they ever could in history. So now they basically have become de facto politicians. That's who LeBron James is. That's why they're so concerned about how many people are following them on Twitter. Because it's like a political party now. You're a member of the LeBron James political party. You're a member of the Kevin Durant political party. You're a member of the Steph Curry political party. It's all about brand building. So they talk about these athletes from the 80s and 90s. They were not concerned with acting woke, because if they thought that there was something that they could help in their community, they started a foundation. They started a fundraiser, a drive. They went out and, they tried to go out and be amongst the quote unquote community. They didn't get involved with helping politicians get votes, like the Democratic nominee for North Carolina tried to get Jordan to help him get voted in back in 91 or 92, whenever that was. I believe his name was Gant. And people say Jordan told him Republicans buy sneakers too. Well, he's right. Republicans do buy sneakers too. And if you want to see the record of black Democratic nominees and what they've done for their people, it's atrocious. Okay? Because all the politics is a bunch of bullshit. And LeBron's getting caught up in it, and now he wants to run his mouth, and he has to be prepared for the backlash.
And I've always said that at the end of the day, I do it because I'm passionate about it. I do it because I know that this is bigger than just me personally.
All that's great, bro, but that's not what this is about. It's not about your philanthropy, which is a wonderful thing. This is about the uneducated and uninformed comments that you made, which caused the backlash.
The hardest thing in the world for me personally is raising 2 African-American boys and an African-American daughter.
Really? It's hard for you to raise 2 quote unquote African-American boys and an African-American daughter when you're making about $100 million a year? Is that hard? You living in the most posh communities in America, and it's hard for you to raise African-American boys, quote unquote, and an African-American daughter? Now, you see why I tell you that this dude is stuck down the woke rabbit hole? When you're down a hole, there's no light. When there's no light, there's no recognition. You lose track. You lose spatial awareness. You just, you don't know where the hell you are. You're in limbo. That's where this dude is right now. All right? He's in the woke sunken place. He's just floating around, just talking shit. How the hell could you sit there on national TV and say it's hard for you to raise your boys and your daughter in this society because they're African American, quote unquote, and you're the most affluent man in the country, arguably the most affluent celebrity, I should say. And when I say affluent, I don't mean in terms of power necessarily, but in regards to recognition and glorification. He's arguably the most affluent celebrity in America. I mean, he just has no awareness of what he's talking about, and he wants to perpetuate the victimhood mentality so bad so that he can try to justify his claim that he's going to lead some type of social media revolution against this current setup. And you don't know what the hell he's talking about.
In today's society, it's hard. And
no, it's not hard, bro. There's people out here struggling every day just to make ends meet, and they have children that they're raising. That's hard. What you're doing is not hard. You have nannies and servants and all that shit.
For me to sit up here as an athlete, and that's why I started the company I started in Uninterrupted, because I wanted athletes to feel like they had the power, they had the platform to speak about whatever they wanted to speak about and not have it cut and diced and split into a soundbite and people use it how they wanted to use it.
That's a good idea. But you also have to understand that, with great power comes great responsibility. To whom much is given, much is required. And when you decide that you're going to tell your own story, that means that you can't bitch and complain when people use your own words against you. You didn't say that the president of the United States was bad fiscally. You didn't say that he was, doing things that was hurting America economically or strategically. You stated that he was a bum and that he wasn't, quote unquote, bringing people together. So when you call somebody a bum, that's a personal attack. So therefore, you have to be prepared to have a personal attack levied against you. That's how that goes. That's the political field. There's nothing wrong with that. People sling mud all the time in that world. So if he's ready for that, go for it. But don't marvel. Don't get upset. Because as I already stated, in the social media world, these athletes are like politicians.
That's exactly why I started it. And it could be as powerful as speaking about Trayvon Martin, or it could be as simple as saying what type of pair of socks that you're wearing this morning. That's why I started the platform that I started, and to have athletes feel empowered to speak about whatever they feel like they want to speak about. And because we have so many kids and so many people look up to us, to have that platform means everything to me.
Let me say this. LeBron James has conducted himself, as far as we know, off the court in a pristine way. He deserves all the credit for that, for his philanthropy, so on and so forth. But in regards to this issue, the sentiment that he decided to run with, you got to be prepared for the backlash. Right? That's how things are when you're a grown man. But anyway, that's it on this part of this issue. Peace.